Okay, let's see. Yes, it's you. All right, well, let's play a quick intro. These shows resonate with you, please share. As we have consistent suppression from social media, but that's okay because we're going to kick their ass when it's all over with. I mean that in a good way. Let me put on this quick intro, allow people to get in so we can invite some people. Share it out and invite some people in, share on your page. I'm not with it today. A lot of powerful energy going down, and I'm just as susceptible to it as everybody else. Here we go. What's going on, everybody? We got a pretty cool show today. A couple of shows coming in today with a couple of new faces that we haven't, that I haven't met before. And so I'm going to pull, let me get this, the engineering part of this right. We got 30 people in the house. Good morning, Eon Boldy. And Yvette Jule is in the house. The Soulogy Hoochie Mama is in the house. The High Priestess of the West Coast, California. Yvette Jule, I bow to you. I bow to you, my dear friend. My dear friend, it's good to see you. And Eon Boldy was on Freedom Network yesterday. And from what I can understand, he kicked ass and took names. So a lot of people in the house here. Thank you for coming in. We have a little bit of a technical, what's up with you? Let's see. Hang on a second, Aasha Kay. Just hang on one second. I'm having some difficulties here. That's not going to let me do what I need to do. Well, you know what? We're just going to have to work through it. Hello, Dubai. Sonia Coley is in the house. You guys would, Bliss Prima is in the house. How's it going? And Richie Sauter. Richie, when are you going to come sit down with me on this show and shoot the shift with me? All right, hang on. Let me just, I almost got this thing working. Yeah, so we're getting a late start, so we'll see if Aasha Kay can hang with us a little bit longer than normal. All right, let me just fix this since we're challenged by the machinations of Facebook. What's up, Karen Rowe? Agnes Java. Let's see here. All right. Okay. Julie Devereaux's in the house. Julie Devereaux, my dear friend who brought me some goodies from Utah when I was in Hawaii. Okay, here we go. Let's get back over here and bring up our guest, our beautiful guest. Let's see here. Okay, that should do it. Okay, yeah, it's a rough day today. That's all I can say. Rough day so far. There she is, a little angelic creature that you are.
Hello.
Hi. I've never met you before, but that's the way I like it. That's the way I like it. We just have a spontaneous, intuitive, creative, imaginative, and depending on what we're talking about or doing, courageous exchange. So exactly. It looks like you're living in a log cabin.
Yeah, I live in a log cabin on a lake.
Really? Where
Yeah.
at? Where at?
In Ireland.
Oh, you're in
So
Ireland. Well,
yeah.
you don't speak the dialect there. Are you
No,
American?
no,
Huh?
I'm Scottish, but I have like one of those accents that
You're
sound like I'm from
Scottish.
everywhere.
Scottish. I
Scottish.
I'm
Hi.
I'm a huge fan of Outlander.
I've not seen it. I've no watched
Oh
some
my
people,
God.
but
You have to
I keep
watch
being
it.
told to watch it, but
Oh my
I'm
God.
just gonna
I don't even
I don't
watch
have
T.
patience.
Yeah, I don't even watch movies or TV or anything. And Morgan got me on it. And
I
this
heard there's a lot of
guy,
synchronicity in it.
oh my God, it's crazy. This guy, energetically, Jamie, it's like I'm watching myself. And of course, Claire, the heroine in the show,
Uh-huh.
is Morgan. She's like a a white witch that does magic and flies through time and rides dragons and all that stuff. But it's pretty
Yes,
cool.
yes.
So
I love it.
you're in there's my friend Angela Brinkerhoff. How you doing, Angela? Might see you. You'll be on the
Mhm.
road. Um, yeah, so you're from Scotland. You're very young. How old are you? If you don't mind me asking.
I'm
Linear.
26 in this
Yeah.
26 in this life.
No, I get that. Yeah, I get that. It's just we don't get a lot of young people, and we've been seeking them out. We've had this kid Joshua Pearson on the last 2 Sundays. He's coming back on this next
I
Sunday.
tried to watch his show, and every time I do it, everything crashes.
Really?
Every time my iPad, my iPad keeps turning off. Like I can't. Every time I connect to his energy, it just
Well,
goes wonky.
right. Well, you guys are probably cut from the same mold. We'll find out here in a minute. But it's been real interesting talking to him. He's 27, and if people are having trouble on any of your devices watching the Facebook stuff, I'd recommend you go to YouTube and watch the replay
Yeah.
on YouTube because Facebook has some
It's
problems.
just the energy for some reason. Whenever I like, because I can watch like other videos, but when I connect sometimes, like on
With
live
Josh,
streams and stuff like that,
well
all my
maybe
battery just dies out the
yeah.
devices. Everything just goes
Well, maybe
wonky.
there's certain energies trying to keep you from seeing Josh and Josh seeing you. Maybe there's
Maybe.
some kind of something going on there or something. I don't know. Maybe y'all are both ETs from the same other dimension,
I was listening to a little bit about what he was saying like at the beginning, and I was like, yes, yes, yes to everything he was saying. So I definitely want to get around to watching the full extent of it without it keep turning on and off.
Yeah.
And
So
maybe connect with him.
I don't even know, where Morgan finds these incredible people like yourself. Are you part of that group over there, that wild motley crew with Freedom Network and Joe Delaney and all those whacked out people?
Yeah, I think I'm one of those.
Oh, you're one of those. I
Yes, I am.
I'm
My
totally.
fam.
Wow, very cool. So, and you're for this incarnation. I mean, you haven't had the time. I mean, I'm twice as old as you. I mean, you're younger than some of my kids. But
Why?
but this is cool. I didn't go into. I don't do a lot of the stuff that people do formally or professionally. I like to just have a conversation. So I didn't really read your bio, but I'll put your bio. I'll put it up. I read the last part, and that's all I had to read,
Yeah.
which was cool because it was not your traditional, stuffy bio. It was very cool.
I really don't like doing bios. I do not
I
like
don't think
talking about
I don't
myself.
honestly. I don't think we should do bios. Really, I don't think we should do
Because I'm
bios.
like I don't really. It's hard to put yourself into a description of like I don't really care much for telling people what I'm doing. I
That's
just
what
kind
I'm
of do it.
saying. That's what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that what is a bio? It's you know what? I don't feel good today. I just need to tell everybody because
Yeah, I'm a
whenever
bit
I don't,
wonky, so bear
oh yeah,
with.
well I don't feel
Yeah.
good. My back hurts.
Same.
I have a lot of stuff I've gone through in the last. Morgan and I've done a lot of processing for just a lot of stuff's been going on, and I don't feel
We'll
so
take
good
our
today.
time. We'll take
Yeah,
our
yeah.
time.
But I like to tell people that I don't feel good because if I start dropping F-bombs and I see a little aggressive, then I want them to understand it's okay. But back to the thing about the bios. Yeah, I don't think we need bios. And I'll tell you why I don't think we need bios. Because, it's just another mask. You're like telling people who you are. And and I got to drop an F. I got to drop an F-bomb. I'm sorry, but you're telling people who you are when you can just sit down and have a conversation, and show them who the fuck you are. Because that's
Yeah.
it. You don't need to. You don't need to. And I think we really need to start. We really need to start actualizing. I hate to talk like this. Like we need to.
It's
do
okay.
this.
Just
But what
free flow.
I think it would behoove us all, because we all want to serve the collective, and of course we want to expand ourselves. But I think it would behoove us all to start actualizing and engaging, and therefore empowering this 5D new Earth, because it's not a place that's coming, and it's not gonna pop out of a spaceship or come out of the rear end.
We're creating it.
Exactly. So I think we need to stop looking at the timeline. We need to stop looking at the calendar. We need to stop looking at the clock. We need to stop talking about death. And we probably need, and really my birthday, the day I came into this incarnation was yesterday.
Yeah.
And I just went into, I was like, you know what?
I kind of use time as more, I don't really like kind of flow with time as such, but like even when I'm like using numbers or dates sort of thing, I kind of receive them more as like a code.
Yeah.
In itself, like it is a download within using those numbers, rather than seeing it as like this is this day or whatever, because I really don't know what day it is whenever it is. I'm never sure where I am, but I kind of see them as like codes for kind of expanding consciousness.
Yeah, I do think there's code in it. I think there is code in the dates and stuff. Now, okay, this is tricky. I want to get your take on this. So you have the celestial bodies, planets, stars, and they're all like moving in a certain way and at a certain time. And I'm sorry, I'm looking at it now like that's just a template. It's just an overlay. And so is the calendar.
Yeah.
And so is the clock. But I think it's part of the design that we created, the cookie crumb trail home. So once we figure it out, once we get it for what it is, then we don't.
It's there for a reason.
Yeah.
Because humans need logic to understand reality. So numbers have been used and dates have been used for a reason, so that we can tap into our higher consciousness through numbers, and expand that way. Because people just long for understanding. So if we use numbers, people associate numbers with logic. So it's quite funny. Like I have a lot of downloads about that's why they're used in that sense, and dates and time and all that kind of jazz.
Yeah, and I think there is a synchronicity. I mean, there's a
pattern.
Yeah, you see the pattern, but I think I guess I'm so fed up with us giving our power over to anything. I don't care if it's the moon or the sun. I don't give a damn what it is. We're sovereign beings. I'm God, for Christ's sake. I'm looking at a mirror of myself, this young, elemental-looking Scottish bred magician, magi, whatever you call them. So are you, do you have some type of connection to the elementals? I'm sorry, we're just going to go all over the place here.
Yeah, I do have a connection to the elementals, and the Fey realm. I have a connection like within that, but I wouldn't say I've more explored that as much as other aspects of myself, even though I do have a strong connection to it. I think it's more of a knowing and a being presence of my connection. Like I'll just do it without thinking, to connect and go to locations and connect with that kind of realm. But I wouldn't say I connect with the elementals as much as I do other aspects.
So let's talk about that. So so what did you have a situation like so many of these older people that kind of they were woke when they woke, or when they were born, and then they went into the matrix, got a job, went to school, got conditioned, and then they had a series of traumas that basically destroyed their lives, and they had to go have a come to Jesus meeting with the universe, which was themselves. Did you ever lose grip though? I mean, did you ever lose grip, or did you pretty much?
I lost complete grip of reality.
You did.
Complete, through trauma, my soul just left. But when I say left, it was more of an observation, which was kind of a challenging time because I became the observer of my own life with no idea how to get back in. And I was kind of sitting above my body for a good few years, observing personality archetypes running the show. And that was so frustrating because I was like knowing from here, observing constantly and like watching reality play out with no control over what I was able to say or do or interact with people. But I was very much, I would say that I was born awake. I was very tapped into the spirit realm as a child. I've seen kind of spirits and interdimensional beings and things like that when I was really young. And then I did kind of get pulled into the matrix as such, but it was always this constant battle because even in the depths of my kind of lost soulness, I guess, and disconnect from myself, I still had belief in a sense. Like I still had connection to the spirit realm, and like even in like 2011, like I've had a lot, basically my memory got blocked from the age of probably about, I don't know, like I can't remember like any of my childhood up until until my 20s. Like I got completely mind swiped during that time, but I've had a lot of memory coming back now where I would, even in 2011, I was basically channeling and questioning like our existence and reality, and I was drawing like beings and stuff like that, and I didn't know, I just thought that was a part of me. Like I just thought that was what I did, was just draw. Would never draw people. I would always draw beings and light beings.
Oh, I want to talk about that. But you know, one thing, but I want to, because one of the main reasons we do this show is we talk about things like this because there's a lot of people, whether they are just waking up or they
I had a feeling we were going to talk about some things. I was like, we're going to go deep.
Yeah, well, because I think it helps.
I've maybe not shared before to other people. So
that's what we're looking for. This is it. But it's because they might be going through the same thing right now. And I know without asking that you probably had to question your sanity from time to time,
yes,
and all the different things. But in terms of and the other thing I find interesting that I meant to mention was that I've met a lot of people that they talk about memory swipe, but that's more of like you have an experience that gets swiped. But people who pretty much don't remember anything from their childhood, like you. And there's got to be a reason for that. There has to be a reason for that.
Yeah, I think I seen a lot of things that I wasn't able to handle. Yeah. And I know with the density, it was almost too much for my brain to cope with. So I kind of slipped into deep dissociation, and completely fractaled off into my consciousness into so many different aspects. And that really kind of disconnected me.
Now, do you think that and of course we can talk about these things now because we're all looking at it from higher awareness, and we understand the perfection and that there's not really more of a positive negative charged duality, not good and evil and all that stuff. But did you
neutrality.
Neutrality. Did you have some serious traumas in your childhood, or do you even know?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yeah. So of all spectrum.
Yeah. Okay. I figured that.
Repeated throughout, even until I left. I was kind of still subjected to it. Even in my early 20s, I kind of still returned to like the family home and like the chosen birth parents and stuff, and kind of put myself back into that trauma, even at like early 20s.
That's good that
and then left again.
Yeah, that's good that because it took me to like 49 years old before I could do that, and finally one day I just had to open up a can of Texas whoop ass. Of course I ended up paying the price for all that stuff. but no, we won't go there. Yeah, this is Todd's not feeling good today. Let's talk about light beams. Let's talk about let's talk about what's happening through your experience.
Okay.
So what faces of the universe do you communicate with? You mentioned these light beings that you draw and beings that you draw.
Yes.
Do you talk to a singular voice of the universe? You know what I mean by that? Or do you see or hear or feel
I
different essences, different galactics and that type of thing?
Many different ones. Like I mainly communicate with my higher self. I feel like they come to me when they want to teach me things or to download me with certain information, but they are aspects of myself. I've connected with the Palladians, which was where I came before I came back in because in my last life I passed when I was 8. I then went to Pleiades for within that energy timeline for a couple of years, Earth time, and then came back here. So I have a really strong connection to the Palladian energy. And I also during my kind of like last year, I was very much connected to the mantis beings. They kept showing to me, but they would kind of show and then I'd freak out a little bit. And then they would say, "You're not ready." And then they would go away again.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
very technical. They're very about frequency. They're very technical.
Okay. Yeah.
They're very about frequency and vibration and higher technologies and your vibrational field, and they've taught me a lot about those aspects and
yeah, that's
things like that.
a couple issues there. I want to talk a little bit about the Pleiadians and you, and then the mantis. The mantis, I remember as a little kid being absolutely obsessed with the mantis, the praying mantis. I mean, obviously, but the energy of the mantis, the way it looked. And now that when you mention the mantis thing, I've had like two, maybe 3 encounters where I've had these insectoid looking star family come in.
And they're very tall.
Yeah, and I'm wondering now if they were mantis because they were very tall. They were
big eyes.
Yeah, and there seemed to be like this almost like a digital like dee 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 boo boo dee dee dee. You know what I mean? Thing. And I think and I remember a couple of times and one time they came in and it was my grandmother who's been a big part of my journey, you know, has popped in different ways, but they came in to do some healing. But on the thing with the Pleiadians, you remind me a lot of Morgan. And Morgan connected a lot with the Pleiadians.
They were the first after my awakening, they were the first energy to come and basically tell me who I was, what my mission was. They basically held me in pure love.
Yeah.
They wrapped me in like all this energy and they showed their presence.
And what did they tell you? What did they tell you? Who did they tell you you were? And what did they tell you your mission was?
They kind of just along the lines of, you know, like you're an essence of like source of love, and you're here for the expansion of humanity to basically assist and guide others through their journey, to bring healing and balance and neutrality within Earth. I can't really remember, like I've got such a bad memory, but the energy of that moment was so, like I can still feel it now, like it's always with me, like, and their energy is so warm and so pure to, I guess, the essence of who I was. It just makes me emotional when I connecting with them. It's just nurturing and pure love, just pure love. But as we were talking about the light beings, sorry, the light beings I draw are not Palladian or Mantis, which is the weird aspect.
Are they golden?
I would say I am connected to the golden beings, but they're not. They're like translucent with like blue tonal, like almost translucent with blue. I want to say like if I've looked at anything, like I can't tell the difference between like if they're Arcturian or if they're like Syrian kind of energy, but very big eyes, kind of like some of them have markings on their faces, small noses, like their lip shapes change. They're very tall with long necks, with very skinny like bodies, long arms, long fingers, long legs. And I draw them all the time, and I draw different aspects of them. Like, so I see like there's like nurses and different aspects that like I'll draw within their memory, but my consciousness tries not to hold on. Like recently I have had Arcturians come and visit me, and I hadn't like seen them visually until recently, until this past week actually.
You hadn't seen them visually?
No, not Arcturians, not until this week.
Wow. Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen like the way you're seeing them. I mean, I've seen them a little bit like that, but the Arcturians I always see is they look like white, like you know how when you draw a bird in a picture in an abstract,
yeah,
go like that, and then they're like flying everywhere.
Yeah, when the Arcturians shown to me, there was about 4 or 5 of them, and they were just like glowing blue. And they were just kind of like looking at me, and they were just like as a collective energy. And then I've also connected last year, before I even knew what they were. I drew them, but it was the blue avians that came to me. And I'd connected with their energy. But they don't really show much, to be honest.
Yeah, that's the first one I ever saw. The first one I ever felt. And I haven't seen much of them since, but that's the first time I even thought about anything galactic other than meeting Morgan. She's an ET. But I'm kidding. But I never thought about it. But it was right around that time when that happened. And I ended up doing the same thing, and I don't even draw stuff, and I kind of drew it. You know? So have you had any type of interaction with dragon energy in the last year?
Yes.
What is that all about, man? What is that all about besides being absolutely soulgasmic?
I know. Oh my God.
Right? Is that not okay?
I was kind of in, I would say kind of like I believe I'm very open-minded, and I was hearing people talk last year of like within my soul family about the dragons and aspects of it, but I hadn't connected with them, so I wasn't like fully in it, if you know what I mean. And then when I did a session with one of my friends in a quantum, and it was really bizarre because I realized in that thing that I wasn't there to do a session with him. He was there because he was like my gatekeeper, and he had things for me, and he had a key, and he had a connection to the dragons. It was my gateway, as my gatekeeper, which I only worked out like 2 days ago who he was and why he did those things. And then through that quantum session, I connected, and I seen his dragon, and his dragon kind of taken me on a bit of a journey through the ethers. And then after that, he gave me a key, and it was to go through this kind of portal gateway. It was like a door, and is this large gold key. It was a really special key. And when I went to go there, I connected with my dragon, and I got to meet my own dragon for the first time. My red dragon. But it was so interesting because it's like so real, like their eyes, when they like look at me with their eyes, and like then they blink, and like the scales, and just like the power of them, like when I feel their energy behind me, it's like just pure power. And like when they come through me, it's almost, I don't even recognize like the words coming out of me. Like when I shared my dragon light language, I was kind of freaked out myself, because I was like this I don't know, this like purification, like
Yeah.
they just don't take shit. Like
I know they don't.
they're not here to mess around. Like
No, to me they've always felt like the I don't know, the biggest or the warmest, purest love, right? But at the same time, they don't, if they come in, there's something going to happen. Like, you know, it's time to clean out the closet.
Yeah, they basically took me to the halls of Akash, into the crystal chambers of the higher mind, and through all the different like portals. Like I don't know if it's called the House of Many Mansions or whatever people want to call it, but it's like a portal, and then you go through, and then there's like room after room after room, or like I get confused. Like I it's like, to me it's all the same thing. Like you've got the halls of the cache, you've got the House of Many Mansions and the crystal chambers. Like it's all within the same kind of dimensional space to me.
Yeah, and I know that holds true. I know that holds true, just like it holds true that you know, in the end we're all one, you know, kind of thing. And I'm not making light of that. But when you have these dimensional or interdimensional experiences, do you feel like it's you're going into the internal, or does it feel external?
Internal.
Okay. Yeah.
I couldn't go anywhere until I went within.
Yeah. That's one thing in talking to Josh these past 2 weekends, that he talks about going inside. But
when you go into the heart center, that's when you go like further out, because that's your gateway. And if you try and go through, like, even to your like thinking, I want to go with my mind, and you're thinking, you don't actually get to go anywhere. As if you keep using your mind, you won't get to go anywhere, because you're trying to think. And that was something that I learned, like even with meditation, is you won't actually see things if you want to. You have to learn to be the observer and to have no expectation of anything that you want to see. And that's when the things start showing to you, because you've even like going into meditation with someone, you don't go in and like normally go in and be like, oh, I'm going to go to this crystal chamber today. Like it just happens because you've surrendered and you're just allowing. Here's a
good question. Let me say hi to Julie Dara Roberts. How you doing, Julie? She does some great work. I don't remember the name. Hi, Julie. Xana's asking, so what do dragons bring and activate for us?
To me, they're very about purification. So they basically tidy up anything that we've not quite cleared out. They're also protectors. So they basically protect those pure of heart. And their purpose is to basically, to me, is to secure higher realms of ancient wisdom and knowledge from wandering energies, or from anyone not pure of intent that is trying to retrieve information to use for their own personal gain. They won't you won't even, and you won't be allowed in unless you have a connection to the dragons, but the dragons will not come to you unless you're almost in a state of neutrality, and that you're not causing harm to any other being, or that you don't have any intention for your ownness of anything. It is only for the purpose of for others, and to sort of come from that pure unconditional place.
And to me, it's like they started, to me, and it wasn't just in my life, but they really started to appear about this time last year, like October, November of last year. I remember because of what was happening to me, and then I also remember because of what I was doing with my work and everything. But it makes sense to me, because since that time, there's been an ongoing, I don't want to say pressure, but push, you know, that it's an all or nothing proposition. You can't be sarcastic. You can't have these thoughts, even if you don't speak them. You can't have these thoughts that are not the highest intention. You know, it's like they're not taking any BS. And this is us talking to us. I know that, but I like what you said about they're like taking you to the higher levels of ancient wisdom, almost like the
Yes.
mastery levels, which which makes a lot of sense. But I remember it was about a year ago, and I started telling myself, which was obviously coming from the same type of energy, that you can't be sarcastic anymore. You can't make jokes about people, even if they don't hear you. Even if you're trying to be funny, you just can't do it, because that there's an ill intention deep embedded in there somewhere. There's a level of superiority in there somewhere, or something. Separation. Separation.
Yeah.
So do any of the other ones that any of the other energies or star family that you come into contact with, like the Mantis or the Arcturians or Pleiadians, do they seem to have a specific type of message that's unique to them?
I feel like they've got different. It's really weird. I get like mind swiped a lot, so I don't hold memory of like what they'll be expressing. I'll just kind of like filter in the now. But I feel like the Pleiadians, their main incentive is to bring us up to fifth dimensional consciousness as humanity. Their mission is to support us in understanding and expressing unconditional love. I feel like the Arcturians are slightly more advanced in their higher consciousness and what they're doing, but I feel like they're more on the quantum side of things, and like bringing through that kind of higher intelligence and expansion. And same with like the Mantis and Arcturian is very technical about like what we can do to kind of expand humanity as a whole. And very much kind of, for me, I feel like they very much observe rather than step in.
Yeah.
To me, that's not their intention by any means.
Yeah. It's like they provide information. They seem to be very numbers oriented to me.
Yes. Yes.
Very, very numerical. Everything's very numerical. And
when I connect to them, I'm very much in that flow of being in numbers and code, and that is like the language of it in a sense. Like when I channel connecting to their energies, they'll just give me loads of different numbers and like squiggles and stuff, because sometimes it is more like light language code, but then there's other times where I'm connecting with the light beings and it's very coded in just numbers, and that's the way that they communicate. And then what happens is, or sometimes they'll give me source code and binary, and then I'll write all this binary out, and then when I go to sleep, then I process the binary, and then I wake up with like an information download through the binary code.
Yeah. And in your dealings with these energies, all the different energies, what do you think, what's your take on the human hybrid soul, the human species, humanity, our role?
Is this us going to go into the hybridization program now?
No. Okay. I go less into the literal part.
Okay, so you just want.
Well, to me,
what do you want to know? Well, that's a very wide spectrum. That's why I'm asking. Sorry.
Well, Soulogy, we have a hashtag. The human is the hero. I think we're the boots on the ground. Our consciousness is primarily present here. You as Aasha, me as Todd. There's got to be a reason for that.
There is.
I think we've looked at ourselves as so small for so long, but the truth is, I think we're actually leading the charge here.
Yep, we are, and that's why we come into the human physical form to be able to do what we're going to be able to do, because you can't do it in just your light body. And that's why it's so exciting what we're doing, because we're expanding in human evolution. But what we're doing is we're ascending as a light body in a physical vessel, which has never been done before. Which is absolutely exciting. Like it makes everything hyped up, and to be able to do what we're doing and to be able to perceive it from a physical standpoint, not just an energetic standpoint, that is like beyond anything. It is beyond, like beyond. Like, and that is, you're right. The human is the hero. it's a human that's powerful, and we've suppressed that for so many thousands of years, and forgot how powerful the human vessel is, because we didn't know how to use the mind, and we didn't know how to connect it to the mind, body, and soul. We'd forgotten all of this, and become so disconnected. But it is the human essence, the human, like the hum. We are the frequency. We are the vibration. We are it. You know? We're all, but yet nothing at all.
Yeah, no, I get that. I totally agree with you. Absolutely. And it's a little bit taxing at times on the body.
Yes.
You know, and people talk about, you know, drink water and do this and don't do that and breathe.
To be honest, it doesn't really help. Some days I'm just my back's killing me, and
I just want to say thank you, you know. And I know I'm not in a good place today. You know, I'm feeling a little bit, you know, discomfort. But you know what? I that's why I made the comment a minute ago, like, you know, caught myself saying we need to do this. Well, we don't need to do anything. You know, I don't think anybody has, you know, there's any set formula. I appreciate the fact that everybody's got a piece of information they can offer, and I think they should. But when you start getting adamant about don't eat this and don't drink that and do this and do that, I'm like, you know what? I just, you know, it's going to happen anyway.
To me, I've got this kind of awareness at the moment, and it's like, whatever you believe, it is. So if you believe like this cup of coffee is grounding me right now, then it's grounding me right now. If I believe that this cup of coffee is full of chemicals that is upsetting my body, then it's going to upset my body because I believe it's so I'm creating it to be.
Well,
and it's that simple.
No, mine's espresso, milk, and white sugar.
I've just got a black coffee.
And mine's alchemizing my body.
I love how you've got a red inside your cup, and I've got a red cup, and you're wearing red, and I'm wearing red. Look, we didn't know what we were going to wear. I'm wearing a red top as well.
You can't make this. You can't make this shift up. So a couple of nights ago, we had a very powerful. I don't even know, because I can't remember any of this stuff anymore. But this was like 2 nights ago, and it was, you know what? It was. I guess it was 2 nights ago, because my birthday was right after 12, and I remember that happened.
Sunday.
Yeah, it was Sunday night, and so we stayed up for a while. We were both tired, and but like we knew something was going to happen. Like you can always tell. Like we were like, okay, something's going to happen, but of course we got to wait for the right time, you know, because it always works that way. But as soon as we laid down, boom, you know, as soon as we laid down, my legs started jerking, and this electrical coming at me, and Morgan's doing her thing. But when we talked about it, because we have a review every day, we'll go over whatever happened in the last 24 hours. And one of the things that was happening, which I couldn't have explained, all my stuff was coming in through feeling and through colors and electrical charges. She was getting a straight up, you know, explanation. And it was that the etheric body and the light body, and they were all coming together in that moment. And oh my God, I must have had like, you know, like probably 25 soulgasms throughout my body.
Oh my God.
I was like, whoa.
What's going on here? It's funny that you say that. That's what I call them. I call them soulgasms. When that goes on.
Yeah.
I was the same on Sunday. Yeah, it must have been Sunday. Yeah. And my body was just like, and I don't know if that was the date, because it had been building like all weekend, because I think I'd commented on when you were on something with Morgan, and it might have been seafood blogging and stuff, and I'd said, you know, is there anything I can do to stop this energy? Because my whole body was just like pulsing and just fitting and seizing, and like all this energy just like flying through me like all the time, and my kundalini was going crazy. I
know.
And this whole week it's just been like that every day. Just constant.
It happened to me on the show. It happened to me on the show with Grace Solaris on Sunday. It happened to me before what I just described. It happened to me that night on the show with Joshua Peterson, because he does this. I said to him, you know, can you do like a upgrade? You know, like, you know how many people in our community, they do activate. He didn't know what I was talking about. He's like, oh, you want me to do an upgrade? Well, I'm sitting next to him, and as soon as he opened his hands like this, and I'm not one to get affected very easily. I don't think, because I think my field's pretty strong. But as soon as he opened his hands, I'm not even looking at him. I could feel like somebody came and sat next to me. I'm like, what? And then he started doing this light language, and it went from my head right down to my root, it went right down to my root, and I thought, oh my God, I'm gonna wet my pants. What the hell's going on here? But that energy, I think that energy, I'm making a joke, but I mean that energy that you're saying it too, and I think there's a couple other people that had said that too as well. Grace Solaris had said it. So there was something going on. What would that have been? The 8th, the 9th?
Yeah.
Of course, we got the 12th coming up. Are you into any of that stuff? I mean, do you feel
like?
I am. Do you feel like? Well, tell us what's your take on 12/12, on what's happening with this 12/12.
Okay, I've not shared my update yet, but like I was writing that before like I came on, so like I'm pulling through collective download for it at the moment. And basically they're referring to it as the mother of all gateways, and it's something that we've been preparing for
The mother of all gateways.
Mother of all gateways. It's something that we've been preparing for 26,000 years, that we have completed a cycle that was basically collapsed the timelines on Sunday, on the 8th of the 12th. The timelines were completely I don't know, I get confused with Earth's words, so it's like I just see the energy of it. So there were basically the timelines were not supposed to hold out, or like completely gone, with the new templates completely activated.
They're not being that's not being played anymore. Like that projection's no longer being projected anymore.
No, it completely crashed. And those who chose to not align with it, like they're gonna, like, from my perspective, like there was a conscious choice made on the run up to this portal for those that were gonna come into the new transition of New Earth, depending on how you've been treating people, how if you're living in your alignment, whether you're doing your mission work. Like, I don't even like the word mission, but that's the one people resonate with. So that you're doing your mission in these aspects. But very much a lot is coming through to do with Lemuria and what we were doing back in Lemuria, and in the retrieval of that information through the Akashic records, and us remembering, basically flipped the timeline. So it's no longer from that timeline, and it brought it into this now. So as we remembered aspects of the timeline of what we did in that time, it's actually activated and made it real within current time frame, in terms of the healing of the waters, the crystalline grids, and everything is lit up right now. Everything is luminous, everything is sparkling, everything is wild, and that's why everything is shifting, and we're having mass weather like interferences. We're having all this energy coming in from the cosmos, and it's just shaking everything.
A couple
from
things.
My perspective.
No, your stuff aligns with the Franco Nicola stuff, and Amanda Lawrence, I mean Jason Estes, and a lot of other people that are less.
I feel very connected to those people. I haven't really had much chance to like speak with them, but like very much I know that like if I receive an information, whatever I normally put out, we all write it in our own way, but we all pull the same information. And to me, that's no coincidence. We're all collective group. We're all pulling for the same information, and that's a way that we can also know what we're experiencing as a truth, because it's coming from us individually, but we're all having the same experience as a collective.
Absolutely.
Without speaking to each other.
Well, the thing is too, that's one thing that I've noticed too. Of course, it's obvious. I mean, I'm not a genius. I mean, what I've noticed this year is that more and more of the information is converging, regardless of how somebody might explain it. Jason Estes talks data points. Franco talks about inverted 3D matrix that no longer is being projected. You know, Amanda puts it in her own ways and with her own drawings and that type of thing. But this thing with the 1212 gateway, I'll tell you what happened to us. Now, this would have been, I think this would have been, God, this must have been the same night. Actually, this was the same night. And what happened was, the weather was you know, clear. There hadn't been any rain. There hadn't been, you know, we're over here in Arkansas, and we did our thing, you know, like we always do.
Oh, wow. Sorry, Sunday, you just reminded me. The weather was really bad on Sunday.
Yes.
There was major storms all over the world.
Okay, so that's what happened here.
My power went out in the village during a session.
Yeah.
The whole light started flashing at 11:11. Everything went out.
11:11.
It was what?
Yeah. So I think ours happened around 2:22 in the morning, because we had been you know, doing our thing for, it seemed like about an hour and a half, and so and it was so weird because we don't talk a lot when we're doing this. And I don't think I ever went to sleep. You know, I would fade in and out. And all of a sudden you heard this rumble, and it was like a thunder boom that like came from miles away, and you could hear it going across the, and it was like, and as soon as it finished, she opened her eyes and said, "We just opened the 1212 gateway." And not meaning just us, but just, she
collective,
could see
we did.
She could see a whole group of people that had just opened the 1212 gateway.
Yep.
So, and you know, Valerie Peterman,
and it's open. It's already open right now. It's already open. It's ready for people to go through. I seen it yesterday, and I was like, oh, okay. And it's connected to like the golden energy, but it's also connected to the diamond light template, like, as well, which is what I've received. And we also received to do with the 1212, when I had my Kundalini awakening and I had like a prophetic vision, I drew it out, and I drew like a channel download of it, just so that I wouldn't forget what happened. And I wrote 1212 in between 3 triangles, and it was like a triangle, and then like, because I'd seen the triangle with these like 3 points, like 3 different dots, and then linked to 1212. And what I found out is, like, on the run up to this gateway, when Jupiter and Venus aligned, they aligned with the moon to create a triangle within the sky. And that was extremely significant to do with the neutrality point, moving us into 0 point within the balance of the masculine and feminine energy, and connecting us to the galactic center. And then I also thought it was interesting that when I had my birth chart read, I have placement of 12 degrees in my moon placement.
Wow. So
it's like very interconnected, the importance of the 1212 kind of gateways, and it's all linked into like the 333 and the unification point,
triad, trinity. I, as we say now, Valerie Peterman brought up a good point, which I never thought about till right now. She said the 1212 is the completion of the 7-year cycle from 12-12-12. That's trippy. That's kind of trippy.
I just wrote something about that in my, I see, I forget what I download. I was writing something about, it was linked to the opening that was in 2012, the gateway there, where a lot of souls came online at that gateway. And it's linked to like another gateway that's like going to activate a lot of souls. And what this is going to do is basically create the net where it was sitting at the upper 4th density point. And as it's basically coming through this gateway, it's going to activate a lot of souls that are ready to sort of hop into their like mission, so to speak, from this timeline. And then when that happens, we just need the percentage to go up to about, to hit over really 70%. And once we've got that percentage up to there, it's then going to be held the resonance of the grid for humanity as a whole within the 5th density consciousness. and it can't drop them back down. And then we're going to hold that net grid because everyone's already, like the people that have been holding the resonance and holding that frequency and vibration are basically holding the net here vibrationally. But the more, the next load of people that are going to like flip up within this gateway are basically just rising the density of the planet in general to the highest standpoint.
Yeah, I think it's a good time to really really reapply our efforts to disengage from what we refer to as 3D, which, like we were talking about at the top of the show, calendars, birthdays, just death, anything that is, you know, aging. I mean, I think it's a good time to reapply our efforts and our focus. We got some advice here from a dear old friend of mine who I first saw in Dimension as a little green fairy years ago. Anna Thomas, she says, deep breaths to remind yourself you're in control and present in the now moment. Discomfort and agitation will pass, which, you know, I thought that was pretty cool. Then she added, also stroking your beard and nodding. I don't know if she's trying to be funny there. No,
I think that's a funny one.
No, she's very funny. That's one thing I really like about some people like her is they put the humor in to the wisdom. You know, there's so much. I think
we need that. We get too serious.
Yeah, I know we do. It's like, come on, man. It's like, you know what?
We're supposed to be here to have fun. Like, yeah, it is serious. But if we make it serious, then we're not going to enjoy ourselves. We're just going to see it as like, oh, this is a pain. Like, why have I signed up for this? But it's because we're choosing to see it from that perspective instead of being like, do you know what? Let's just make the most of it and enjoy every moment that we're here for.
Well, I think, you know, it's understandable that we did that for a while, but I think we've got enough information now. There's enough validation. There's enough of a community. We know we're not crazy. And I don't know what's happening right now. I'm seeing like these big giant crystals in my head, and my left ear's going off. So I don't know what's happening. But I think
maybe you're picking up on my downloads, because that's what I've been writing about in my last update is the crystals, the big crystals and stuff. So
well, talking to you, I'm looking at Morgan at 26 years old, like. You know, before
the stuff
you even
that Morgan writes, it's like, it's weird when I read some of her stuff. It's like I resonate so much, like, in the sense it's like I could imagine myself have written it sometimes. I'm like, this is weird.
Yeah, well, you know, and I think that's a big part of it too. I think you said this earlier, is it's time to own it. You know, it's time to own it and step up. Whatever your piece of the puzzle is, just step up and put it out there, because the more
we need to.
Yeah, because it's contagious. And that 70% or whatever that tipping point is, whatever like you were referring to, it's not going to get there if we hold back. Because what's holding us back? You know, I'm going to be embarrassed. I'm going to make a fool of myself. You know, I mean, come on. You know, there's nothing wrong with showing your ass every now and then in the spirit of the pure intention. You know, because believe me, I've done it many times. But no, really, there's not. I mean, it's time to step up and not be afraid. What's going to happen?
Yeah.
You know, going back to your point about, you know, let's have a little fun with it. So what? You know, so what if you drop the ball a little bit? So what if you make a fool of yourself, or you sing out of tune, or you make a bad freestyle rap and it doesn't rhyme, or whatever? You know, at least you had the etheric balls to put it out there. And
and that's kind of how I've had to really honor that within myself, because I think I was very much restricting of myself and being like, oh, I don't really doubt, not so much doubt, but just like I didn't want to be perceived in any sort of way. But now I just don't really, it's not that I don't care, but I'm not in resistance of myself or my expression. Like, if I want to be weird and post silly things on my Facebook wall, then I'm going to do it because I enjoy it and I'm having fun, and I'm not going to really worry what anyone else has got to say about it.
Yeah.
You know?
Right on. Yeah. So this is cool. I mean, I'm dig talking to you. This is really cool. I did not feel good. I still don't feel that great. but you know
my
what?
back's killing me. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
Is it? Your
I'm
back's
doing-
killing my
it's
back.
so bad. Like, and
Yeah,
I'm
my
sitting
back's-
here trying not to like. I'm like jittering away, like trying to like. I'm sitting with like loads of crystals in my hand, like grounding. So I'm not like spazzing out. It's really intense tonight.
So now, okay, so you post on your page. And I apologize for not being more familiar with my guest or my collaborators. There's no guest here; it's a collaborator. Is there any other places that people can find you, or you know?
I have a few videos on YouTube.
Yeah.
That I've uploaded about. There's a couple of channeled messages. There's a couple of light language dances. There's one of me talking a little bit about
light
myself.
language dance. Is that what you said?
Yeah, light language dance.
Okay, so all right. So look, we already gone over, and I know it's. I don't want to keep it too long, but if you'd like to do something, you know, I can. The floor is yours. If you want to do some light language, a light language dance. You know, you want to do a light language dance, or
Are you gonna do it with me, Todd?
My back hurts.
My back hurts. You're encouraging me to do it, so
I tell you what. I tell you what. I'll promise you this. I promise you this. You don't have to do it now. Don't do it. But if you want to do it at some point, light language dance, I'll do it with you on camera.
Oh my God, that would be so. I think everyone would love that, Todd.
Yeah, but I can't do
that
it today.
would blow your views out. The thing they'd be like, I'm showing up for Todd to do some light language dance live on Facebook.
I will. I promise you, I'll do it. We'll do another show.
I might share some light language before I go,
share
just
some light language
to end it off, and I'll do some kind of hand movement light language kind of code for people, and
right on.
If people are wanting, I can do that. I'll just tap into my heart space. Harayana Koteshtianamaka. Harayana Kuhyena Arayana. Wana Taishtiana Koyeshtiana Makarayana Matide. Yana Karayeshtiana. Orayana Taishtiana. Orayan. Yana Taishtiana. Uananarai Kudayanama. Yana Karashtiana. Wana Tarayana Shtiana. Rayana Kudayana Marayana Makastiana Rayana Tatakayana Makuristiana Kar Urayana Makarayi Todayana Yanana Christiana Yanma Kudistiana Karayana Urayana Yesti Oyesti Rayana Christiana Rayana Makurayana. Namaste.
Namaste. You're a powerful, powerful sister. Do you do sessions?
I do upgrades activations, and I do quantum healing sessions. I work on it's just love contributions, donations, so that way we can reach as many people as we can with what I do. I hold the space of source code. So I do source code activations.
What'd you just do right now? What was that? Why is it all tingling inside my throat right now? Was that you? Or is that us?
We were expressing. It's all of us. We were expressing grounding us into this current energy and our ability to communicate clearly and to speak with honor and truth and integrity in this now.
Yes, you know what? That must be up right now, because I got up today. I'm sorry to keep you, but I got to tell you this and see I want to see what your perspective is.
No.
So I got up today.
I'd love to hear it.
Okay. Let's be real. Let's be fucking real. All right.
Okay.
So
Let's be real, guys. Let's get real.
So Todd and Morgan and Soulogy have gone through a lot of attacks. Okay, and it's not a big deal. Our field's strong, and it's a lot of it's just the drama, Mickey Mouse, junior high, bush league bullshit, But there's been a few people that have fallen off the radar. And look, let's face it, we're in a telepathic environment. Somebody told them some bullshit, something stupid. I don't know what it was. And then the friend just says, I'm not going to have anything to do with you. So this happened to someone in me. And this happened a couple of months ago. And when it happened, I just was like, hey, I was like, hey, it's cool, whatever. And I didn't push it. But I woke up today and I thought, I'm going to write him a note. And I started writing him this note. And I said, look, we're in a space now of authenticity, of truth. And sometimes you keep your mouth shut because, if you know it, well, you got to say it, right? But at other times, I think you've got to say it. And I started writing this thing, and then my freaking mind kicked in. It's like, no, you can't do that. No, F him, and I'm like, no, that's me I'm looking at. That's me. And I want to know, I don't want to know what was said. What I want him to know is my own truth, which would be, hey, if you want to listen to what somebody else said, that's fine with me. You know what I mean? Without asking me. Or whatever the case is, it's fine with me. But I want you to know that I fucking love you. You're a cool dude. And that's it. And just because we're connected, that's the other thing I was saying. Just because we're connected, as we all are, doesn't mean we have to get along as human beings. That's okay. I understand that. But I don't know. But I think there's something about
there was something about that. And even yesterday, I had something come up and I almost shared something on my Facebook, basically, that was like a message out to like everybody about basically being mindful, because I was observing people within the community. And I don't know what on earth was going on with them or where they're at, but I was witnessing very vulnerable, innocent people who were expressing compassion, expressing truth. And then they were basically being almost energetically punched in the face by healers and light workers in the community for connecting with them and trying to show support to their community. And I got so almost wound up in myself, and I was like, I don't even want to interact with that person to speak to them, but I went directly to the person that had been sort of attacked, as a better word, use that, like energetically smacked around, just to make sure they were okay. And it was like very much noticing that within the collective. But it's like coming from that place, I know what you're saying, it's like that battle with yourself. It's like, do we then say something in that position as in our integrity to be like, message them and be like, hey, that's not okay, like or is that infringing on their free will? And it's very much like that place of like balance. And it's like, what do we do in that situation? Do we just support the people that are on the other side of it, or do we actually step up and be like, what you're doing and the way you're treating people is not okay? Like, instead of dancing around it and putting up a status, dancing around the subject, do we just reach out to these people and say, what you're doing and creating fear and separation and confusion within the community is not okay. It's not okay. That's not what New Earth is about. It's not what any of us are about.
Well, there's a lot of talk, and rightfully so, about embodiment. We pull all this information in, and now we have to embody it. And I always tell the story, it took me 2 years asking Morgan, she would say, you have to embody it or it doesn't count. I'm like, what does that mean? But I started to understand embodying is actually really being human with that knowledge, right? But so here's where I'm going. So we are in an illusion of a non-telepathic environment where you play these games and you tiptoe around the tulips, like you said, and dance around it, right? But I think part of embodying it is honoring the telepathy, because let's face it, it's coming anyway. So don't think that
Yeah.
what you're thinking is not going to be heard by everybody, because it is. Now, here's the point. There's a big difference between telling somebody off and telling them, hey, that's fucked up, man. Okay, period. We don't need to discuss it. You can take my truth, and if it doesn't resonate, it doesn't resonate. But I need to say this. That's not cool, right? That's not cool what you did or what you said, you know? And I don't want to get into this egoic engagement of, you know, that. This is where we came from, you know? And I think
that was something that I wrote about, and it was saying that we can express ourselves in a way that is not harmful and potentially damaging to other people's growth within their journey. We can be assertive in what we are saying without being offensive. There is ways of doing that. At this stage of the journey, we are able to communicate as humans, to express ourselves and say that something is not okay without attacking someone in the process of it.
Yeah, and I think,
and if we are feeling wound up, then we need to really look at ourselves and take a step back, I guess.
Well, that's true too, and that's one reason, you know, I've been in this mode of like, if I don't know what to do, don't say nothing. And also, I've found that saying less or saying nothing has been working for me, but that's my own trip, coming from somebody who talked too much. You know what I mean? It was always a talker. So, but I'm also starting to see that, and I love what Anna Thomas said here, short and simple, 100%. I really believe that these are not extended conversations. They're not extended conversations. You say what you say and boom, you're done, you know? And I find what I find quite fascinating, like, and I think couples have an advantage because, you know, obviously there's a, whatever that is, you know, but I know, like with Morgan and I, sometimes we don't even talk about it. It's like, it all shifts, you know, from another level. Yeah. And it's just like, boom, it's done. And it's not a fake thing. You can't fake this stuff. You can't fake, you know, this tiptoeing around the tulips and all that stuff. You can't do it. And I've got a few people like that on my list. Now, these are the people I pull up almost every day, and I look at their energy and I say, that's me. And and of course the wounded ego in me is like going, I want to kill them. I want to tell them like it is. But now I'm starting to get to the point now. In fact, one sent me a note yesterday on my birthday. And it's that, I guess what it is, it's that sweeping the stuff under the rug thing, like, oh, it never happened, doesn't work. And we need to, and that's what I mean about the embodying thing. I don't think it's, I think it's actually a positive thing if we embody the telepathy, cut the bullshit. You're not trying to attack the person. You're just saying, hey, sometimes I got to say something, here it goes. And I've actually watched Morgan do this in her life over the last few months. I was a very talkative person. She was a very quiet person. Too quiet, too talkative. And I watched her in her own circles of relationships stand in her power and not tell someone off and just go, poof, take that shit. But like, you know, take that truth, boom, there it is. And I'm not going to sit here and argue about it. This is what happened, and boom, you're done. But I think more people are doing that. I think it's important. Yeah, it really is. Yeah. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to go off on a tangent.
No, there was obviously a reason for that to be shared in this now.
Yeah.
So
well, you're a very
nothing's
cool,
by chance.
You are a very cool sister. Very cool. And I would love to.
I'm really grateful for having me on. It's been super fun. And I love our syncs with our red energy today. We must have known we needed to stay grounded. We're like wearing.
Well, you know what's weird?
Root chakra.
My back pain's disappeared now.
After the light language.
I guess, yeah. So if we weren't out of time, I would go ahead and bust a move for you, but I can't right now because I got to get going.
We'll leave that for another show.
No, I know Morgan's already on it, but yeah, we'll collaborate again soon because it's good energy, man. Good energy, real good energy. And thank you so much for honoring us with your presence, sharing space with us today. It's a pleasure to meet you.
It's been an honor. Thank you. I love you.
Love you too. Thank you, everybody. We'll be back in.
Bye, Ryan.
We'll be back in 41 minutes with Margot. I don't remember the rest of her name. Sorry, Margot. We'll be back. See you.